This is the future.
Before we start this video, I would just like to thank all of you guys who are continually supporting me on Patreon. I will update the Patreon shoutout page next week, and I just want to take the time to thank you for still being here to support me no matter what happened. I also got new patrons recently, so thank you so much for all of your support. If you somehow want to support me over Patreon, then feel free to visit the link I have in the video description. However, this is not compulsory though. So in this video, I would like to talk about some important things that Digital Extremes might reveal for the future of Warframe. You see, this is kind of an exciting year for us Warframe players since we don't know exactly what to expect after Duviri Paradox. Digital Extremes always teased us on the next big update that they are working, and this always happens before TennoCon to build up some hype. However, this is the first time I saw nothing from them, and they are keeping their mouth shut on what are they working with after Duviri Paradox. Probably, we have some hints that the next will be echoes of Duviri with a new Warframe, new weapons and a new game mode. This is by far the safest guess of players on what will come right after Duviri Paradox update, but this is still Duviri Paradox content though. What we don't know yet is what comes out after Duviri Paradox, which is kind of exciting in my opinion, as I'm getting that vibes that Digital Extremes will surprise us with something big this TennoCon 2023. Just think of this. Duviri Paradox is like the starting point of Digital Extremes right now. How they construct Duviri Paradox seems to be the perfect place to start with, as it will yield multiple scenarios for the player base to experience. Duviri Paradox is always tied to eternalism. It's like the multiverse of Marvels, wherein there is another world parallel to what we are in now, that has almost the same exact looks and characters, but only differs on the events. From here, Digital Extremes could set up different stories, and different timelines, which is the perfect strategy to extend not just the lore of Warframe, but the game itself, and provide content for their player base for many years to come. It's really a strong start for Warframe this 2023. The only thing that we are hoping for as a player is the strong delivery of each update. In my many years of playing Warframe, I have learned that updates are a hit or miss, and you can't judge an update to be good now and continue to the next one, as Digital Extremes are constantly experimenting, bringing new ideas into the table that might either break or make Warframe. Like I always say to my community, let's just enjoy the ride, it's free anyway. Recently, Digital Extremes do a question and answer portion in Reddit that allows players to ask the developer any question and they will try to answer. Some of these questions are quite interesting, and the answers of Digital Extremes are even better. Just like when someone asked if there are any plans for other factions leches, like Infested or Sentient or Corrupted, Pablo replied yes, there are plans but not this year. He even hinted that it would be Infested, so it's now confirmed that Infested leeches are in their drawing board. This also means that we might see yet another big Infested update in the future, and the only one worth noting that we have since then was the Heart of Deimos update. There are many Infested updates in Warframe, but the one that stick out is Heart of Deimos update, wherein we got corn bots, a great open world standing system, and the Helminth system. There is a possibility that Digital Extremes could expand Deimos in a way that it would be a new way to farm infested Kuva leeches. I mean, the current Nemesis system is kind of dope, and it all started with the Grineer. And what they did here was, in the end, they incorporated the railjack to hunting both Kuva leeches and Sisters of Parvos. Right now, the final showdown will require you to own a railjack, but let me ask you this, will infested leeches be appealing if they are done the same way as Kuva leeches and Sisters of Parvos? I just hope that the same invasion system will be there, like Infested will invade each planet, and after you have collected enough murmurs, the final showdown will be in Deimos. The only boss fight that we have right now in Deimos are the corn bots, and they aren't even considered boss fights like what we have with orbs in the valleys or eidolons in the plains. I'm hoping that if they released infested leeches, then it will be tied to Deimos, and here's to hoping also that the Helminth system will get another expansion. Also, I think Digital Extremes confirmed that we were right about one of our theory. Many players started to ask about the third orb mother that is soaking a pond in the orb valleys, believing that this is tied with the orb mothers, and that it should be the third orb mother fight along with the Prophet Taker and the Exploiter orb. But after Narmer, there's an armor drone roaming around the third orb mother's pond, and we believe that the third orb is not tied to the orb mother, but instead, this will be used as an armor boss fight. It's good to know that Digital Extremes did not forget about this orb mother, and they will tie it to new content which is Narmer. But here's the problem though. Well, I don't know if this is a problem, as it's purely based on your opinion. It would only be a problem if you dislike the Cal Garrison mission, because honestly, if this involves Narmer, there is a strong possibility that the third Orb Mother fight is designed to be a boss fight wherein Cal is involved and not our Warframes. As I have said, it's up to you if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but for me, I would be inclined towards fighting an Narmer version of the third Orb Mother with our Warframes, than to do it with Cal. The Grineer is adorable, but the missions are slow and clunky sometimes. This is just my opinion though. As always, many players also asked about cross-save and cross-play progress, and as expected, the safest reply of Digital Extremes were they are working on it. They specifically said that they are having issues with account handling and trading, which is kind of expected, as like I have said before, this kind of feature can either make or break Warframe. We were so scared of cross-play actually breaking the market with cross-trading. Eventually, we were relieved to hear that cross-trading won't be available and cross-play will only work in gameplay mechanics such as being able to play together in missions while you are in a different platform. Cross-trading will not be a thing. Even if you import your account from console to PC using the cross-save mechanic, you will not be able to manipulate the market by buying low in console and selling high on PC. I fully understand what Digital Extremes are trying to do with crossplay, and I don't mind them taking their time developing, fixing, and improving the feature before releasing the final version. Crossplay is available now and you can check it out now by simply going to the menu tab and search for crossplay feature, then toggling it on. I know most players are waiting for cross-save, and certainly, some of them are misinformed and still hoping that they can exploit the market with this new system. Well, you can't, as cross-save is for players who have grown tired of playing either PC or consoles, and want to try a different experience. Mostly, I'm hearing that consoles want to try the PC experience as they are eager to see Warframe work on their $2,000 PC. Well, if your consoles are free then, might as well give it to me. Another thing that was commonly asked by players during the Reddit AMA was rework. When will this Warframe rework? When will this get fixed? When will this change? It's kind of hilarious though, as some of the Warframe rework mentions weren't even that bad. I mean, the Warframe that they want to rework is not that bad at all. I think your builds just suck, dude. Come on. The most notable rework questions I have seen are for Hydroid, Inaros, and the pet system of the game. The good news is, Pablo might shed some light that they have seen some discussions, and hinted that they might work first a rework for Hydroid. But Hydroid is not bad, squad leader. Your build just suck. Okay, you have your own opinion, but let me remind you of things that might actually make sense for a Hydroid rework. First of all, his ultimate ability is a mess in my opinion, popping out in places where you don't want them to, and they do little damage. TT might cost you some resources to make it good, as you will tap into the Helminth system to subsume a grouping ability so that tentacles will deal concentrated damage to a target location. When it comes to looting, it's good, but it's unreliable and often overshadowed by Necro's Desecrate, or even Korra's Pilfering Strangled Dome. His Undertow is a great infinite damage scaling ability, but its usage is undeniably boring, and why would you turn into a puddle when you can just literally kill enemies on the move? It's basically the opposite of Warframe, which is all about fast-paced movement and action. I like his Tidal Surge, as it's good in movement and it makes Undertow usable in some way, but the thing is, they could actually make Undertow and Tidal Surge into one mechanic wherein it does the same thing but it's only one ability, and just replace the silly Undertow. And lastly, Tempest Barrage is one of the most obsolete skills in the game right now. With the augment, it deals corrosive, but the damage is not that great even with high power strength, and corrosive is close to being forgotten right now due to the fact that we can now 100% strip the armor and shield of enemies. To be honest, I'm not really hating on Hydroid, but I just want to make him better. I want him to be par with the newer Warframes, and in general, this is why I am always asking for reworks on the old Warframes. For Inaros, well, we all know that all he got is health and no skills at all. I mean, he got skills, but this is not used at all by players because we are so damn busy in maximizing the health of Inaros. And lastly, pet or companion rework. There is like 2 or 3 companions acceptable by the Warframe community right now. the Volfapilla variant, the Smita Kavat, and might as well throw in Q-Browse if people are min-maxing their builds towards nuking and high health values with the mecha set mods. Other than that, there are plenty of companions sitting in the mastery rank fodder, and the worst part is, that feature in Fortuna wherein you can build your own companion was already forgotten by players. I don't know if this is even a good thing, but some players are saying that companions should be equal in terms of survivability with their masters. Just like Warframes, companions must also be unkillable. Well, what do you think about this? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know down below, because I have a mixed feeling about this suggestion. Another thing that we'll discuss are old features coming back into Warframe. I was scanning the whole thread, looking for someone asking about the Plague Star event, but eventually, no one had asked. I was going to ask, but it's already too late, as I think the AMU is done, as most recent questions got no reply from DE. The most notable ones that have been asked are Raids and Scarlet Spear event. Digital Extremes said that Trials will not making a return in the future, but this doesn't mean the trade is out of the picture. We are asking for a new raid anyway, and not the old raid. The old raid was full of elitist, and we were hoping to get some that is not locked to players. A new war could possibly be a good backbone for a new raid, and somehow, I think it's a good choice for the developer to give us a raid which we will finally get a good scrap with the Sentients. In terms of Scarlet Sped, they did answer that it might take a while to bring back Scarlet Spear, as it was one of the worst first day update of Digital Extremes. It was a good event for farming arcanes outside of the Eidolon hunts, and I hope someday that it will return. Also, Plague Star might get tied to the upcoming infested leeches. That would be a great idea if we can finally get away for unlimited former farm, or somehow, in the future, we could get something like the Thermia Fractures and the Ghoul event. Recurring events that actually returns after a few weeks, and not for years. Just saying. Although Digital Extremes did not mention about the upcoming Warframes, but they have said that the next Warframes are already in plan, and I think we will see a new Warframe once Echoes of Duviri hits in the near future. Also, I was very interested when Pablo mentioned about a Falconeer Warframe that did not get into the game. This was his first frame ideas from 7 years ago, and it was a Falconer frame. There was concept art made already for it, but it never landed. I don't know if somehow its work the revisit, as many players was curious about the idea. Is it better left untouched and forgotten? What about you? Do you like a Falconeer Warframe in the game? Or would you rather stick with our resident Burb Zephyr? Lastly, it's a big relief to know that Digital Extremes have commitment to continue a long-term plan for Warframe. When asked if ever they have a long-term plan for the story of the game, or do you just try to make it as you go, Rebecca replied that they did not have a true long-term plan, but they had an emotional duty to make it more than an action game, and they strongly felt that telling a true story as part of Warframe needed to happen regardless of where it went, and they continued to make that happen. She even hinted to tune into TennoCon, as I think they will reveal the next chapter of Warframe. But then, expect that it will take years before it come out. Don't get too hyped by the hype train, and just know that there will be something to consume in the future from Warframe. It's good to know that even if the OG of the team left to pursue their other game called Soulframe, Digital Extremes remains on their roots and continue to pump update for Warframe. It's good to know that we will get to experience more stories, new gameplay ideas, and different game mechanics in Warframe in the future, and I honestly can't wait what Digital Extremes has in store for us in TennoCon 2023. That's all for me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please do give a like and subscribe if you did. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.